Introduction to Control Systems. Here I will discuss the basic flow measurement and control, and here are the objectives. In Segment 1, flow measurement units. Segment 2, flow sensors. Segment 3, flow measurement. And lastly, Segment 4, basic flow control. In Objective 1, describe the basic function of flow measurement and give an application. Flow measurement is the measurement of the volume or mass of material that passes a given point during a specified time period. Flow is frequently the manipulated variable in a control loop, regardless of the control variable, level, pressure, temperature, etc. For example, maintaining the level in a tank often requires controlling the flow into or out of the tank, or sometimes both. Next is flow as both controlled and manipulated variables. It is also possible for flow to be both the controlled and the manipulated variable. The example shows a flow sensor measuring the flow of a liquid in a process system. The flow sensor sends a signal to a transmitter, which sends its output to a controller. The controller then sends a signal to the valve via an IP converter to control the flow at the desired rate. Here is the meaning of the controller. Controller systems. A controller is a hardware device or a software program that manages or directs the flow of data between the two entities. In a general sense, a control can be thought of as something or someone that interfaces between two systems and manages communications between them. In Objective 2, define three flow measurements units, types of flow measurement units, velocity, volume. Process control systems measure flow using one of the three types of units: velocity, volume, and mass. The units used typically depends on the application. Velocity flow measurement. Velocity refers to the time it takes a fluid to travel a given distance. The velocity of a fluid is typically specified in feet per second or meters per second as shown. Velocity measurement is common in application where fluid velocity is directly related to the process performance. An example is in a heat exchanger where fluid velocity affects the heat transfer rate. Volumetric flow rate describes the volume of fluid that flows past a given point in a period of time. The volumetric flow rate combines the velocity of the fluid and the area of the pipe or container. Volumetric flow is typically expressed in cubic feet per minute, gallons per minute, or liters per minute, as shown. A volume flow measurement example. Volumetric flow is the most common method of measuring how the quantity of material flowing through the system directly relates to process performance in many applications. An example is a mixing application where two fluid streams are mixed together in a specific ratio. Here is the process. Mass flow measurement. The mass flow rate describes the mass of fluid that flows past a given point in a periodic of time. A mass flow rate combines the density of the fluid and the volumetric flow rate. The mass flow rate is often expressed in pounds per minute or kilogram per minute, as shown. Mass flow measurement is the most accurate method of measurement of the quantities of material flowing through the system because density variations do not cause a reading error. Many applications that control the flow of compressed air or other gases use mass flow measurements, like this picture. Velocity and volumetric rate comparisons. This example compares the flow rates in 25 millimeters and 50 millimeters diameter pipes. Volumetric and mass flow rate comparisons again. Fluid, it is only 1 liter of gas. The density in kilograms per cubic meter is 0.5. QV is LPM 58.9. QM or kilogram per minute is 0.029454. examples compares the volumetric QV and mass QM flow rates for three fluids with different densities. This example compares the volumetric QV and mass QM flow rates for three fluids with different densities. Now this is also for three fluids with different densities. Velocity units to volumetric units. Many flow sensors actually measure the velocity of the liquid flow and convert it to a volumetric flow rate. These formulas show the conversion from velocity units to volumetric flow rate units. Given the inside diameter ID of the pipe, the constants given are based on the relationship between the ID of the pipe in inches or millimeters and its cross-sectional area by r squared, where r is the radius. They also provide the required radius or conversions from feet per second or meters per second for the velocity to GPM or LPM for the volumetric flow rate. Standard pipe sizes. Pipes come in standard sizes of both US customary and metric units. To determine the inside diameter of a pipe, it is looked up in a table like the one shown. The nominal pipe size is an approximation of the actual ID and is used for convenience in naming the pipe size. For example, Schedule 40 pipe with a nominal size of 1 inch has an inside diameter of 1.049 in diameter nominal is the metric equivalent of the MPS. Conversion applications. Some flow measurement applications require conversion from flow velocity to volumetric flow rate or vice versa. For example, designers use velocity to size pipes and volumetric flow rate to size components. Another example would be an operation where a velocity type flow sensor is the only type available, but the system needs volumetric flow units. The example for this is calculate the volumetric flow rate of the liquid in per minute flowing through the pipe shown using the information given. Another example, here is a practice you can do also. Now for the calculate given volumetric flow, here is also a velocity calculation example, a procedure overview. Here is the mass flow rate. In some processing of ethylene, it is more desirable to measure the mass flow rate rather than the volumetric flow rate. Mass flow can be measured by a mass flow meter or it can be calculated from volumetric flow. This calculation is useful because the mass flow rate does not change as the temperature or pressure changes. Therefore, sensors that measure mass flow are more accurate than sensors that measure volumetric flow. Here is the volumetric flow units to mass flow units. The density of common fluids. Now for the example. Mass flow units to volumetric flow units. Another example. A procedure overview. A self-review. Now for the flow sensors. Flow sensors can be grouped into the following four categories according to the way in which they measure flow. Differential pressure, velocity, volumetric, and mass. Differential pressure. Flow sensors measure flow by measuring the pressure difference across a restriction. They require a differential pressure transmitter to convert the pressure reading to a flow rate. Differential pressure flow sensors include orifice plates, pitot tubes, venturi tubes, and flow nozzles. An orifice plate sensor, which creates a pressure difference as the fluid flows through its small opening, is shown. The pressure before the restriction, upstream pressure, is 140 kPa, and 100 kPa after the restriction, downstream pressure. This indicates a pressure difference of 40 kPa, which the transmitter converts to 4 to 20 milliamps signal that is proportional to flow rate. A differential pressure transmitter has internal circuitry and a microprocessor that uses the mathematical relationship between the differential pressure and flow rate to calculate the flow rate. The flow rate is equal to the square root of the differential pressure. Differential pressure flow meters measure the flow in pipes of fluids such as water, hydrogenic liquids, chemical, air, industrial gases, and steam. They are used in most industries including mining, mineral processing, pulp and paper, petroleum, chemical, petrochemical, water, and wastewater. Variable flow rate velocity flow sensors determine volumetric flow rate based on the velocity of the process fluid. Velocity flow sensors include magnetic turbine, ultrasonic, and vortex shedding flow sensors. Magnetic flow meters like the one shown use electrical coils, field coils to create a magnetic field around the process pipe. Magnetic flow meters only work with fluids that are conductive. Most fluids conduct electricity to some extent. However, fluids that are more conductive, sodium chloride, for example, work better with a magnetic flow meter. As the conductive fluid flows through the magnetic field, it induces a voltage at the electrolytes that is proportional to the velocity of the fluid. The electrolytes carry the voltage signal to a transmitter which converts the signal to the volumetric flow. Magnetic flow meters are used for water supply and wastewater applications or any dirty liquid that is conductive or water-based. They generally will not work with hydrocarbons, distilled water, and many non-aqueous solutions. Magnetic flow meters are also used for applications where low pressure drops and low maintenance are required. A turbine flow sensor measures flow by measuring the speed of its rotor blades as they rotate each time a blade rotates past the magnetic pickup. The sensor creates a pulse. The frequency of the pulses, which is proportional to the flow rate, is read by another instrument, a transmitter, that converts the frequency rate into a flow rate measurement. Here is the example. Here, turbine flow meters are used in many major industries, including water, natural gas, oil, petrochemical, chemical processes, cryogenics, milk and beverages, aerospace, and biomedical. They are widely used in custody transfers of hydrocarbons in the petroleum industry and in blending applications. Volumetric flow sensors, also called positive displacement sensors, typically contain one or more rotating gears or rotors that measure flow by dropping a known amount of processed fluid in the sensor. Therefore, the volume of the fluid that passes through the sensor is proportional to flow rate. PD sensors include oval gear, helical gear, and the nutating disc sensors. Here is the process. An example of an oval gear flow sensor is shown. As the two oval gears rotate, they drop a known volume of fluid between the gear and the sensor body. A magnetic pickup senses the rotation of the oval gears, which generate a pulse each time fluid becomes entrapped. A transmitter calculates flow rate based on the frequency of pulses. Positive displacement flow meters are used to measure the flow of liquids such as water, hydrocarbons, cryogenic liquids, and chemicals. Many positive displacement flow meters are used in the municipal water districts to measure residential water consumption. PD flow sensors are commonly used to measure total flow by counting the number of times the cavity has filled. Some designs can measure gas flow, although liquid flow applications are much more prevalent. Here is some mass flow sensors that measures the mass flow rate of both liquids and gases. Mass flow sensors include Coriolis and thermal flow sensors. Some sensors are able to measure the mass flow directly, independent of any physical properties of the fluid. A Coriolis mass flow sensor is shown. It is able to measure the mass flow directly, independent of any physical properties of the fluid. It measures the vibration of the tubes as fluid flows through them. Displacement sensors placed at the inlet and outlet of the tubes measure the vibrations and send the measurement to a transmitter. This measurement is proportional to the mass flow rate. Mass flow sensors are finding increasing applications in industry. They are often used to determine the flow rate of low velocity gases and all liquids. Thermal mass flow sensors are used primarily for gas flow applications. Application for Coriolis flow rate sensors include chemical mixing, biotechnology, chromatography, pharmaceutical development, and other areas where extremely small volumes of liquids are mixed, studied, or metered, and where shock and vibration are encountered. A turbine flow sensor uses a rotor and a magnetic pickup to create a pulse frequency that is proportionally to flow. The rotor is located inside the sensor body, while a magnetic pickup, which detects the rotation of the rotor blades, extends outside the sensor body as shown. The flow of liquid past the blades causes the rotor to rotate. The magnetic pickup creates a pulse each time a blade passes by. Magnetic pickup includes a coil and a permanent magnet as shown. The rotor blades are either made of a material that attracts magnets, have been permanently magnetized, or have small magnets embedded in the tips. Therefore, each time a blade rotates past the pickup, it generates an electric pulse. The transmitter receives the electrical pulses and converts the frequency to a proportional 4 to 20 milliamp signal. A turbine rotor and flow vanes. In addition to a rotor, the sensor contains stationary flow vanes. These vanes are located at the inlet to the rotor as shown. The flow vanes smooth the flow to the rotor to increase the accuracy of the sensor. Here is the uses of the turbine flow sensors. Turbine flow sensors are often used to measure the flow of viscous fluids. They also maintain high accuracy when the flow rate is high, making them a popular choice for flow measurement. Sensor installations. Devices and restrictions upon stream of turbine flow sensors can have negative effects on sensor accuracy. Therefore, most turbine flow sensors require a certain length of strict pipe upstream and downstream of the sensor to ensure proper operation. The turbine sensor shown requires a strength length of pipe equal to 10 diameters upstream of the sensor and a length of 5 diameters downstream of the sensor. Sensor installation requirements type of restriction. The requirements for straight pipe upstream and downstream of the sensor can increase depending on the type of device or restriction as shown. Now for the sensor installation requirements in elbows. If two elbows in different planes are placed in the piping, forcing the flow to twist or corkscrew, a turbine flow sensor can require at least 40 pipe diameters of straight pipe upstream. Paddle wheel flow sensor. A paddle wheel flow sensor or tangential turbine sensor is a type of flow sensor that uses a rotating paddle wheel to determine the volumetric flow rate. The paddle wheel flow sensor generates electrical pulses based on the rotation of the rotor, just like a standard turbine flow. However, the paddle wheel blades are perpendicular to the flow as shown. The pickup device senses the pulses and sends them to the transmitter. The transmitter converts the pulse frequency to a proportional 40 to 20 milliamp signal. Paddle wheel flow sensors are constructed of plastic instead of metal like most other turbine flow sensors. Therefore, they are generally used for low flow rate application, typically less than 20 lpm or 5 gpm. Advances in paddle wheel, rotor, and shaft designs are making them more rugged. These advances now make them a popular choice for some high flow rate applications. Here is an example for the paddle wheel flow sensor and the cell. Now for the digital transmitter operator interface. Most digital transmitters have a display and programming keys that allow the user to navigate menus and set the parameters to make the transmitter correctly interpret the signal produced by the sensor. The display also monitors monitoring of the measured quantity. The digital flow measurement or control. A digital transmitter can be used in a flow measurement or flow control process. In either case, the transmitter receives a pulse frequency from the flow sensor, which is proportional to the flow rate of the liquid. Based on calibration parameters that have been entered, the digital transmitter converts the pulse rate into a flow rate that is displayed. The transmitter also generates a 40 to 20 milliamps output that is proportional to the frequency of the pulses. The controller then uses this output to control flow. Here is the flow transmitter. Most digital transmitters contain a microprocessor that calculates the flow rate based on the frequency of the pulses. The microprocessor uses calibration parameters to determine the flow rate and generate a proportional analog output. Wiring connections. The connection terminals on the back of the GF Signet 9900 are shown. Power input terminals, the sensor input terminals, and analog output terminals, and the open collector output terminals. Here's the flow sensor to transmitter connection. The flow sensor connects to the V plus data and GND terminals on the digital transmitter as shown. Wiring configurations. The top figure shows an example of the GF Signet 9900 transmitter wired to the input of a controller and an external power supply. The standard parameters. Digital transmitters must be calibrated to properly display the flow rate. This involves setting parameters in the transmitter, usually with a keypad, although calibration parameters vary from one manufacturer to another. There are some standard parameters, which include flow units, flow K factor, sensor type, totalizer units. Flow units parameter sets the measurement units for the flow rate in GPM, LPM, or FPS. This parameter typically only affects the display of the transmitter. The flow units parameter on the GF Signet 9900 transmitter shown. Here are the standard parameters. The flow K factor represents the number of pulses per volumetric unit that the flow sensor generates. It provides the processor with the conversion factor needed to convert the pulse frequency to the desired flow rate. Each brand and model of digital flow sensor has a unique flow K factor. Therefore, the manufacturer of the sensor must provide the K factor for the example. The K factors for different sensor models from a particular manufacturer are shown. The flow sensor type parameter sets the type of signal provided by the sensor. The signal can either be a series of pulses at a variable frequency or a digital serial data signal. Setting the sensor type parameter to FREQ or frequency, as shown as indicates a frequency signal from the flow sensor. This is the default value for this parameter. Setting the sensor type parameter to SL indicates a digital serial data signal from the flow sensor. The totalizer units parameter provides the processor with the units to use for totalizing. The totalizer units parameter is shown, set to liters. The totalizer value is viewed in the view mode. It continues to increment until it is reset. The additional programmable parameters for the GF Signet 9900. Most digital transmitters include more parameters for controlling the display and the output of the transmitter. The calibration, the input, loop, relay, and option. In the modes, a GF Signet 9900 digital transmitter has two modes, view and menu. The transmitter normally operates in the view mode. An example of this mode is shown. The user enters the menu mode whenever the transmitter needs to be configured. In the view mode, the user can display the measurement values, current outputs, and relay status. A radial bar graph appears on the display in this mode. It graphically represents the measurement value. The actual measurement value is displayed in the field below the graph. View mode, another continuation. While in the view mode, the programming keys just below the display allow the user to view different values and to enter the menu mode, and up and down arrow keys allow the user to select different values to display. They also allow the user to enter the password that is required to enter the menu mode. When the transmitter is in the menu mode, the up and down arrow keys allow the user to select and change parameter settings. The right arrow key moves the cursor left to the right on the display. Selecting the enter key saves changes to parameter settings. Pressing the up and down arrow keys at the same time while in the menu mode returns the transmitter to the view mode. Here is the procedure overview and the set review. The flow control loop. A flow control loop contains the same elements as a level control loop except the sensor measures flow instead of level. An example of flow control system is shown. A flow sensor provides a feedback signal to a controller which determines the necessary output to send to a final control element, such as a valve. The final control element responds to the signal from the controller to make the process variable equal to or near the set point. Although flow control systems are similar to level control systems in many ways, flow systems have different performance characteristics. Flow systems respond faster to control output changes than level systems because flow is both the manipulated and the controlled variable. The PI control for flow systems, the control method used most often in flow systems is the proportional plus integral mode. Flow control systems are subject to frequent load disturbance, so PI controls allows these systems to react quickly to this disturbance. Proportional control provides an immediate response to the error, and the integral control maintains the flow rate at the SP. The figure shows the response of a system using PI control. If the load disturbance are rapid enough to large enough to cause the system oscillate, the derivative mode is sometimes added to provide an immediate response to the load changes and helps to prevent oscillation as shown in the bottom figure. Here is the procedure overview and the site review. Now, for the 4A Signet 9900 digital transmitter, here is the procedure overview or the PDS. Now for the 4B paddle wheel sensor. That is all for my part. Thank you.